I get it. This is that feeling that we get when we solve a very difficult problem. This is when we come up with our own solution. This is when we have this aha moment, the feeling of conquest when we're trying to solve a problem. This feeling can be built even without facing real life situations. As parents and as leaders, we could coach our children and our team members by role playing and using choreographed conversations. This tactic is very useful. What if you could ask questions that are leading questions, critical questions that make the other person think, make your child think, how would they solve a situation? What would they do when certain things happen? How would they face a situation when they need to call someone and they don't have their mobile phone? What would they do? There are many such real life situations that we as parents want to teach our children, and we don't want them to learn through a very difficult real life situation which could have some bad consequences for them. So this tactic of choreographed conversation and role playing, by deeply engaging in conversation with your kids and your team members, is a way to coach them, to have them think through a problem, think through and break down a problem into a series of various conclusions that they can come to themselves, for themselves. So this is the key. If you give the solution to the other person in your role playing coaching exercise, they will not take it as their own solution and they will not be able to own it. They will not be able to live with it because they did not come up with a solution. But if you guide them enough with leading questions and they come up with a solution to a problem by answering some questions that you come up with, now all of a sudden they have a strong sense of this aha moment or this I get it feeling, and now that solution sticks with them. They internalize that and they deeply understand it. So there are various times during driving, perfect time, captive audience, people are in your car, they have nothing to do, you don't even have to have an eye contact with them. You could start various conversations, things that you see outside while driving, even when you read a chapter in a book, or when they come up with a problem that they want to solve. Do not solve the problem, make them solve it. And if you do this with choreographed conversations or role playing, you will enable them to think through various problems, and even if they fail, it's not the end of the world. But there are a few things that we need to keep in mind, and there are these 3 tips that I really found in this chapter 11 and that I'd like to read. Amazing summary. So if you want to teach someone, then make sure that you keep your tone relaxed. You can only do it if the child feels safe, they are ready to listen, and they have nothing else to do. They're not distracted. So do it when it's a calm setting, your tone is relaxed. And if you see that your child is not responsive or is not interested in the conversation, drop it. Don't push through it. There'll be many opportunities to discuss it. Also, avoid end of the world scares tactics. When you're talking with your child about actual events or hypotheticals, don't over dramatize. She'll never take you seriously if you say smoking will kill you by the time you're 30. First of all kids don't think about being 30, 40, or 50 years old. It's far too distant and abstract. Secondly, they conclude you're trying to scare them because they know smokers who have lived into their 80s. Even if you use scare tactics, they might believe that they will react emotionally or defensively rather than think about possible consequences. Scare tactics only increase children's stress. They don't help them problem solve. Super important. Do not scare them. It just creates stress. And then finally, avoid harmful criticism. When a child has done something foolish or harmful, parents tend to blurt out phrases like, "How could you be so stupid? Why didn't you think first?" Label sarcasms and shame put children in position of having to defend themselves or retreat into anger. Even worse, these negative circumstances will make children feel inept. Same is with your team members. Do not criticize, label people. Attack the problem, not the people. So use the right timing when you want to engage in teaching moments. Avoid scare tactics, just create stress. If you don't see reception in that time, drop it. And do not label people. They'll just get defensive. But when they're ready, and when you are doing role playing, this is the best coaching tactic you can use. And now all of a sudden they'll come up with solutions, and those solutions will stick to them because they came up with it. Thanks.